Yeah. Yeah. No, no, I can record it on Teams. That's what we've been doing. So it's recording now. That's okay. But it won't have your pictures there. That's all. That doesn't matter. But the voice will be there. Okay, so let's offer respect to Prabhupada. Om Jnana-chamandasya Granjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmalatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, and my spiritual master has kindly opened my eyes. With a shining torchlight of transcendental knowledge, I therefore offer my respectful obeisances. Under his lotus feet, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So we're continuing our reading of Bhagavad Gita from chapter 10, entitled The Opulence of the Absolute. Text number 20, if I'm correct. 20? No. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because we didn't do last week. No one was there last week. Yeah, we didn't do last week. So last week we did 19. Yeah, so just to recap on a couple of weeks ago when we got together last in 19. So this section is dealing with Krishna's energies, how we can understand God through his energies. Why can't we understand God directly? What's the answer? Why can't we immediately just connect with God? Yeah, we don't have the eyes to see him in a spiritual form. So people say that, right? Oh, I don't believe in God. You show me God and then I'll believe. But it's not like that. You can't demand to see God. He's not a small fish that you can just call out and he's going to come in front of you. Imagine you say, oh, I don't believe in the Prime Minister of Australia. You bring him here and then I'll believe in him. He's not going to come and see you. And if you want to see him, it's not easy either. You have to be in his inner circle. A stranger just can't go and rock into the parliament or, his personal private home and see the prime minister. So neither he's going to come and see you, and neither you can go and see him. So, and that's just a tiny prime minister on this one tiny planet and one tiny universe. And we're talking about the boss of all of the universes and all of the spiritual world. Actually, the whole material world, which was made up of unlimited universes, this universe is compared to one mustard seed in a bag of mustard seeds. So that gives you an idea of how many universes there are. So did you get that? This universe is like one mustard seed in a bag of mustard seeds. So, and this, all of that together in the material world is 1/4 of Krishna's whole creation. So 3/4 is the spiritual world and 1/4 is the material. And Krishna is the boss of all of it. In this 10th chapter, text 8, the seed verses said that I am the source of the spiritual and the material worlds. So Krishna declared there that he is the cause, the source of everything. Everything emanates from him, like that. So definitely you can't call him to see you, and definitely you're not qualified to go and see him. Does that mean we're never going to understand that God exists? No, it doesn't mean that, because we can understand God immediately from perceiving his energies. And like I said, even if you can't see the sun because it's behind a cloud, you know the sun is there when you see what? Yeah, the heat. Say like how hot is it now in Thailand? Gulshan, do you know the heat temperature? Yeah, so it's 34 degrees. It means it's pretty hot. You know if it's hot, the sun must be out somewhere, right? And you're in your room, you can't see the sun. All I see is a light bulb on the ceiling. So, but you know the sun is there somewhere. You don't know exactly where, but you know the sun exists because it's hot and I can see the light coming in through the curtain. So definitely you know the sun must be there even without seeing the sun. So this is good to know. You can understand the existence of God by understanding the energies of God. And those energies of God are clearly visible to us, clearly perceivable. Just like the heat and the light of the sun, you can tell the sun. So what we're going to be hearing now, we're going to start to hear very soon about some examples. And like text 19, what we did a couple of weeks ago, Krishna's saying in this verse, Arjuna, I'm only going to tell you a few of them because it's unlimited. There's like multi energies. He says, I will tell you my splendorous manifestations, but only of those which are only, some beeping went on. But only of those which are prominent, O Arjuna, for my opulence is limitless. So Krishna's saying here, I'm just going to show you a few of the unlimited energies. Why is Deepa saying? Are you still there, Deepa? It's saying on your one on hold. You still with us, Deepa? Oh, Krishna.
It's looked like a pause.
Yeah. I don't think I did anything wrong at my end. Let's see. Hare Krishna. Yes, he's on hold. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't do anything, I don't think. Anyway, we'll see if she comes back. I don't know what to do. And yeah, so Krishna is saying in this verse, I'm only going to, oh, she's disappeared. Anyway, let's see. That I'm just going to tell you a few of them because it's unlimited like that. Of Krishna's, he's going to tell us about his own energies by which we can understand God. So, oh yeah, she's back. What happened, Deepa? Okay, anyway, good that you're back. Yeah. So like I was just saying in text 19, Krishna's saying that I'm just going to tell you a few of my unlimited energies by which you can understand me and remember me like that.
Yeah.
So now it's going to start in text 20. So we can just read the Sanskrit first of text 20. Aham atma gudakesha sarvabhutashaya stita aham adishcha madhyam cha bhutana manteva cha.
The Supersoul, O Arjuna, seated in the heart of all living entity, of the beginning.
So this is one way that God manifests in this world is the super soul. So the super soul. And of course you might say that, well, that doesn't help very much because I can't see the super soul either. And we can't even see the soul, right? You can't see the soul. We can't even see ourselves. Actually, our eyes are so limited. If something's very small, you can't see it with the eye. If something's very big, you can't see it with the eye, right? If something's very close to the eye, like your eyelid, right? Can you see your eyelid? It's so close you can't see it. If something's very far away from the eye, you can't see it. If there's no sunshine or light, you can't see in darkness, right? So actually the eye is so limited, so limited. So do you have any idea how we can understand the presence of the super soul?
Because you told me.
Yeah, we can through hearing from an authority. Actually, the best of all of our senses. What do I mean by senses? We have eyes, ears, nose, the tongue, and touch, and your ears. Of all of them, these are our knowledge acquiring senses. These are called Gyan Indriya. So some senses you get the knowledge through. That's called Gyan Indriya. Jnana means knowledge, Indriya means senses. So let's go through that again. You've got your eyes and your ears and your nose and your tongue and your touch sensation. So these are the 5 knowledge acquiring senses. And of all of those, which is the best sense for getting knowledge? It's your ears through hearing. The ears is best. Actually, the way that the Vedic knowledge is understood is not through the eyes. You could be completely blind, and that would not be an obstacle for you to understand the Vedas. The Vedas is called Shruti. Another name for the Vedic knowledge is called Shruti. Shruti means that which is heard. So it's an oral tradition passed on from the guru is speaking to the disciple's hearing from the guru. And that's the way the knowledge is passed down, through hearing. When Kali Yuga began, our memories deteriorated. So whatever you heard, you can't remember it so well. So they had to write it down. But that was only began 5,000 years ago. Before 5,000 years ago, there was no need to write anything down because people had perfect memory. That means whatever the teacher is telling the student, they will remember word for word for the rest of their life. Word for word for the rest of their life. Perfect memories. Perfect memories. Prabhupada tells a story of some Brahmana, like about 100 years ago in India. And that Brahmana, he witnessed a crime. And he was brought to be a witness to the crime. But the person that committed the crime was speaking a different language. He didn't know the language. However, he had perfect memory. So even without knowing the meaning of the words, he could recite the whole conversation in the crime scene. He could recite the whole conversation even without knowing the language. And that was accepted as evidence for that crime. So, I mean, just previously people had such brilliant memories like that. So just by hearing, and then they would remember that, and then they could repeat. Then that person that heard from their guru, they would repeat that to their disciples. And that's the parampara. That's the parampara. You hear from your guru, you remember it, and then you repeat it to your disciples. And I tell you what, it's well known, even in modern society, the best way to remember something is you tell it to someone else. Whatever you heard, you tell it to someone else. So I'll tell you, the best way to learn something is by becoming a teacher. If you become a teacher, then you're going to learn that subject the best. You know, that's a really, of course, of course. So I'm learning more than all of you. That's really good to help to remind us of the subject. So yeah, definitely that's there. We accept that there's a super soul because of an authority. Also, because the soul is so tiny. We're 1/10,000th the thickness of a hair in size. We hear that from the authority. The soul's situated in the heart. We're 1/10,000th the thickness of the tip of a hair. That's how big the soul is. If you take a hair and you divide that tip into 100 parts, and then that 100 part you divide that again by 100, that's how big the soul is. And that's why even the greatest scientists with their microscopes and everything, they're never going to find out the presence of the soul within the body. Like that, it's so very small. But the soul does have a form. The soul has a form. It's not like that we're just some light or something. We actually have a form, but that form is so small that it cannot be seen like that by any material device. And even apart from that, it's completely spiritual. So whether even if they did have a powerful enough microscope, even then I doubt they would still be able to see it because it's completely a spiritual form. It's not material like Krishna's form. So yeah, we can't even see the soul. How are we going to perceive the super soul? There is a way we can understand by logic that there must be someone there that's arranging things. So let's look at the 13th chapter, text 23. 13th chapter, text 23.
Yet in this body there is another, a transcendental enjoyer, who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor, who exists as overseer, or permitter, who known as a Supersoul.
So the previous verse talks about the soul that
So it's in, like, it says in this body there is another transcendental enjoyer.
Yeah.
So if I eat something, gulab jamun,
Yeah.
who is enjoying that? Me or this transcendental enjoyer?
Yeah, Krishna's enjoying it. Krishna's enjoying it, and because he's enjoying it, then because he's enjoying it, then you're able to enjoy it. If he wasn't enjoying it, then you wouldn't be able to enjoy it. Actually, even the senses are his senses. We think it's my tongue enjoying the gulab. Actually, it's Krishna's tongue. And it's composed of Krishna's energy, and it belongs to Krishna. And if Krishna wasn't present, your tongue wouldn't work. How are you going to eat the gulab? If Krishna wasn't present, your stomach wouldn't work. How are you going to process the gulab? So if Krishna wasn't present, your hand could not pick up the gulab. So if you wouldn't breathe, you wouldn't be able to pick it up. If Krishna wasn't present, the cook couldn't make the gulab like that. Yeah. Now we know why you left Australia. You're going after the big feasts, the wedding feasts. I know. Yeah, nice. Yeah.
I was saying, what's the vegetarian there? So there's some vegetarian as well. That others has added. So I just had a kilo of gulab jamun. That's it.
Oh, nice.
The gulab jamun definitely vegetarian.
That's why you have such rosy cheeks. Yeah.
And even last night, I went there to the Gurdwara.
Yeah.
And they have in the jalebi.
Wow.
They have in the rice because Gurdwara usually they offer to the guru.
Yeah.
I say if they offer to the guru, I'm having that.
Sure.
And then when I look big like a mountain of jalebi,
wow.
I eat less. Why eating less? I said nighttime I eat less. Comes to the jalebi section. I just the next time.
Yeah. 5, only 5.
I went there again.
Yeah.
She gave me 5 more.
Yeah.
Oh, she gave me too much. Then I cleaned that one as well. Because we sit on the
You're on a sugar high.
He says that I've seen you before here. First time I've seen you in this temple. I said, I just appear and disappear. Don't worry about it. Just go, Jimmy, don't count mine. He said, you like me. I said, well, I do. But so plenty of sugar I pump in for last 1 week without any doubt. So I love sweet. There's nothing wrong with that. And then he's taken he's got so much circle there. He's there for 35 years. So every time some funerals and a wedding happening, every second day there's a funeral as well. They have got a feast.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So, yes, I definitely got to pay this.
Krishna's so kind. I think the whole life of a devotee is only 2 things: eating and chanting.
Yeah. That's right.
And sleeping.
Yeah, and sleeping. And by that simple process, we're going back to Godhead just by eating Krishna's prasadam, chanting Krishna's names, and dreaming about Krishna, and you can go back to Godhead. It's such a nice process. Mm. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Nice. Very nice. Mm. Mm. Yeah. Mm. Mm.
It's not a good diamond. I just listen some of them.
Sure.
It's
Yeah, yeah. Nice. Very nice.
Guru. I
Yeah.
said that's it. From Guru, it goes to Paramatma. I
Yeah.
said that's it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
the Guru.
Definitely. So yeah, Krishna's the supreme enjoyer, transcendental enjoyer. Without him enjoying, we can't enjoy. We're the secondary enjoyers. We enjoy after Krishna. So, as mentioned in this verse, the first in this 23rd text 23, first one is upadrasta. Upadrasta, if you look in the word for word, means overseer. And the second one's anumanta, the permitter. So we can know that without the presence of God in our heart, the Paramatma, he is watching us. Upadrasta, overseer, means he's the witness. This overseeing. No, Krishna's not drinking alcohol. But I mean, all these things are different energies of God, right? He can never be contaminated. So he always remains in a transcendental position. Even Krishna as the Paramatma's in a pig's body, right? Does that mean Krishna's eating stool? No, he's not eating stool. The pig is eating stool. But Krishna, what is he doing there in the heart? He's just watching. He's watching.
He
Hmm.
can only enjoy his four things. What we offer.
No, I mean he's self-sufficient. Even you offer him fruit and leaf water, whatever like that, patram puspam. Does he need your leaf and fruit and flower? No, he has everything. What he's taking in that verse, if you look at that 926, mentioned twice in the verse is bhakti. At that 926, just quickly look at that 926. Twice in that verse it's mentioned patram puspam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhaktyu paratam ashnami prayatatmana. So that's twice mentioned bhakti with love. So that's what he's really taking is not the leaf and the fruit and flower, is the love. If you offer the love. So that is the thing. He's not affected. If he's in your body and you put water in there or you put wine in there, he's not affected by any of them. Even if you put poison down the throat, you're not going to poison him. He's transcendental. But what he's accepting is just the love. It's just the love. That's the main thing. But like I'm saying in this verse, back to 13:23, is his main functions as a super soul in the heart is he's just watching you. What do you desire? What does the soul desire? And there's a Christian saying, man proposes, God disposes. So man proposes. What does that mean? Man desires. You have a proposition. Like in business, you might have one business colleague makes a proposition to the other business colleague. Hey, I reckon we could become millionaires if we, make this phone like this and this microchips and like that, extra fast or whatever. So he has some idea, some proposition. And then God disposes. God disposes means disposes is that he makes the arrangement. He makes the arrangement. So we have a desire. He's watching our desire, and then he makes the arrangement according to our desire. So Gulshan, sure, sure, any desire. So um, Deepa's paused. Oh, she's back again. Okay, good. So just like Gulshan desires gulabs, and then Krishna arranges that there will be some wedding or something like that, and gulabs will be there. So, we desire first, and then he makes the arrangement like that. So we can tell that. No, 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 but you have a desire to get nice, sweet prasadam.
No, not really. I wasn't thinking for gulab jamun. See that I ate it. No desire. Not have any setting of gulab.
Hmm. Hmm.
Go ahead and then on a sore throat. Let's go to the wedding. No desire whatsoever. Finish this.
No, like I said, not wedding, but the nice sweet prasadam. So Krishna's arranging gurudwaras there and weddings are there and everything. So Krishna knows what he doesn't. It's not only he knows what the devotee needs, but he knows what every living entity needs. And Krishna in his expansion as the super soul is in the heart of every living entity. So he knows the ant needs 1 grain of sugar. And he knows the elephant needs 1 cubic meter of dry grass and leaves and stuff like that. And he knows the tiger needs some meat, and he knows the vegetarian needs the vegetarian. So according to the need of a particular individual, he makes an arrangements, like that. So we can understand, he's there making all these amazing arrangements. What's the chances like that? That all these things are so perfectly arranged. Like here, we've got one volunteer lady. She's been staying with us for 2 weeks. She's going tomorrow. She's going to Mongolia next week. And another lady came today just for a few hours with us. She's a local doctor from America, but she's staying here for a time as a doctor. And she's also going to Mongolia next week. Now, you tell me what's the chances of two people meeting here in New Zealand and they're both going to Mongolia next week? I mean, no, who thinks of Mongolia? We don't even think about Mongolia. And you got two people meeting in New Zealand, both going to Mongolia next week, both flying from here to Beijing and then going from Beijing to Mongolia. And they come to our place in the far north of New Zealand, this godforsaken remote place, and they're both going to go to Mongolia next week. So, I mean, you can understand that someone must be making these amazing arrangements. What's the chances? If you're a scientist looking at probability, what's the probability of that happening? It's one in, millions and millions and millions like that. So many incredible things happen that is just too much for chance. There is some intelligent being, making all these fantastic arrangements. Exactly what we need. Krishna knows Gulshan's going to a foreign country. They're big meat eaters, but somehow Krishna's arranged that you're going to get nice vegetarian gulabs and jalebis and dal bhat and everything like that, even in this, rakshasha, meat eater country.
pure vegetarian. Noodle and soup as well, because noodle and soup is the food of Thailand.
Yeah.
They're serving in Gurdwara. Okay, I'll have it. So yeah, so it's very nice actually.
Mm.
I've seen a few I used to work them. I've seen in the temple all that and all that. I remember.
Mm. Mm. Wow, very nice. Well, you're eating like a king. Yeah, yeah. Mm. I'll tell you what my realization is. When you completely depend on Krishna and you're not making any plans, that's when your life gets really exciting and Krishna just takes control and amazing things happen. When you think you're in control and everything, Krishna just stays in the background and he's still arranging, but you think you're the one doing it. But when you just let go and just leave, then amazing things like what Gulshan is experiencing, just everything is taken care of. He didn't even know where he's going to stay, where he's going to eat, all these things, but it's just all miraculously. And then you can realize that God is actually there, guiding everyone in their heart. One of the main times I realized the super soul has to be there, as I've mentioned it before. I was going door to door distributing books when I was a brahmachari, and I approached one house and I was attacked by a dog and it bit me on the leg and I was stumbling down the street with a bleeding leg and wondering what to do. That was a time before mobile phones, so no mobile phones, no way. One of my friends, he had dropped me off. It was arranged that he would meet me about an hour from that time. I didn't know where he was. I know he's also walking up and down different streets. I didn't know where he was. I couldn't contact him, everything. So he came within 5 minutes to me in the car. He had the car. I didn't have the car. And as he was driving me to the hospital, I asked him, why did you come? You weren't supposed to come for like another hour. He said, a voice in my heart told me a boy's in trouble. Go and find a boy. So I'd already, of course, heard about the super soul, but that time I experienced the presence of the super soul like that. That was Vigyan. We have theoretical knowledge, which is Gyan, and then you have Vigyan, which is experienced or practical knowledge. And I had practical experience that time the super soul exists. Sure. Yes. Yes. But the thing is, but the thing is, people don't think deeply about it. We need to reflect. We should, reflection is very important. We should deeply reflect on these. These things come and go, and we don't think about it. We need to think more deeply about these things. That you are thinking about someone, and the person calls you. What's the probability of that? There's no probability of that. But there's something that's connecting everyone together, and that's the super soul. The super soul's in everyone's heart, and there's that common link, and communicating everything can go on like that. So this is how we can understand the super soul exists. Does that make sense? Even though we can't see with our eyes, but just by this contemplation. So contemplation and reflection like that's very important like that. Otherwise, if you don't think deeply, you'll miss it. You'll miss it.
You don't have a secret desire to go to Mongolia, do you?
Ladies come and tell you something. About few books and then put in Mongolia.
Yeah.
Not allowed. He's gone far enough now.
I mean, if you go there, you have to really depend on Krishna. You have to really depend on Krishna there because it like gets minus 20, minus 30 degrees, and there's very little vegetarian food there. So they're mainly meat eaters. In the summertime, something is there. But interestingly, one of the doctor lady that's going there is a vegetarian, and she said it's not a problem because the Mongolian family she's going to be staying with is actually vegetarian, which is quite rare. But you know, in that way, you can see even Krishna as the super soul is even providing for her. She's not a devotee, but she's a vegetarian. And the super soul in her heart knows that she doesn't want to eat meat. So the super soul is arranged. She can go to this heavy meat-eating cold country, and still she's going to get what she needs there. So definitely we can understand that the super soul is there making these wonderful arrangements, even though we can't see it. And then let's go further about the verse today. So we've looked at the super soul. Now we can look at, so it's saying here he's seated in the hearts of all living entities. Well, let's just look at one more verse about the super soul. We'll go to 1861.
Arjuna, on the entity are seated as a machine made of the material energy.
So this body is actually called a yantra. In the verse it's mentioned yantra machine. Yantra Rudani Maya. So this is a yantra machine made of. Sure. You don't have faith. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. 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 But I'm just saying that, you know, whatever Krishna's saying can be verified by our own experiences if we think deeply about it. But if there's a high probability, if you just watch rugby and drink beer like most Kiwis and Aussies do, you're not going to be able to understand anything because there's so much tamagun, mode of ignorance. But if you're in the mode of goodness, means you have knowledge, then you can clearly understand that what Krishna's saying is a fact.
As well, because
yeah. Humility means that when the superior gives an instruction, you do what you're told. So Krishna is the ultimate authority, superior, and we're the inferior, we're the servant. So when the master speaks, the servant has to follow, you know, the master's instructions. So that Krishna's position, he's the master, and as mentioned in this verse, 1861, Ishvara. Ishvara means master. He's the controller. So when the Ishvara speaks, then the servant, what's the occupation or the responsibility of the servant? Well, what's the there's simply one thing. We just do whatever our master says. If you're a servant and you have a master, there's only one thing you have to do. Whatever he says, you just carry it out. You just carry it out like that. Just carry it out.
Yeah. You just have to accept it.
Yeah.
But when people don't,
Yeah.
but it's when humility that they are not the ones who are in control, that they don't know anything.
Yeah. 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 And that's the problem, that we're the soul, although originally we're full of knowledge, full of consciousness, but we're covered by this yantra machine made of Maya. Yantra Rudani Maya, this machine made of material energy. So now we're covered over the original, the soul's original pure consciousness, full knowledge of our relationship with Krishna, has now temporarily been covered over by this machine made of Maya. We can look at that at the end of the third chapter. It talks about that. Third chapter, text 39, around 39, third chapter, text 39.
Is pure consciousness covered eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied and which burns like fire.
So yeah,
as girls are a fuel of the fire.
Yeah. But originally here, like, we're a wise living entity. So why are we not wise anymore? Because our original pure consciousness as a wise living entity full of knowledge has been covered by this lust. And the symptoms of this lust is that it's never satisfied and burns like fire in the heart. So lust means sex desire is there, but it means any kind of material desire for enjoyment in this world, sense gratification. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah, so even though he's the richest man on the planet, but he's still not satisfied. And still got that. Yeah. 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 So that's how you know the lust is there in the heart if the person's not satisfied. And also if they're full of anxiety. Because this burns like fire means, but lusty for Krishna, if you're thinking, but yeah, lusty for Krishna is good. Lusty for Krishna is good. Deep has gone on hold again. Lusty for Krishna is good. Lusty in forgetfulness of Krishna is not good. No. If Krishna's in the equation, even lust is good. You know, like if Krishna's in the equation, even anger is good. If Yeah, I mean, we might say it's not perfect, but at least the lust is coming under some control, because at least you're sticking to a vegetarian diet. You know, so if the lust is out of control, you would eat anything that's in front of you. So at least there's some kind of restriction on the lust, isn't it? Because some people, it doesn't matter what you put in front of their face. It's McDonald's, it's KFC, it's Burger King, it's coffee, it's onions and garlic, it's marijuana, it's cocaine, you know, it's meth, like that. They'll just take anything in. So that means the lust is completely out of control. In our case, we're starting to get it under control because we only eat vegetarian food. And generally, we only eat food that's been offered to God. Generally, yeah, offered to Krishna. So, or like you said, offered to Guru, that's still good or whatever. So, I mean, the lust is coming under control. And then in due course of time, as we mature more, the lust will come under more control that we realize that actually this body doesn't need much food. I'll just take just enough just to keep it alive, like that. And you're getting so much enjoyment from your relationship with Krishna that you don't need much enjoyment through the senses. That will, but you can't force that. See, that's also not going to work out well if you try to force that to happen. You have to let that, you know, naturally it will happen. At just a second, the computer's about to die. I'm just going to plug it in. Hang on.
That's the gulab jamun. Till the last.
You are in Thailand or Vietnam?
Yeah, no, at the moment, Thailand, I'm going to Vietnam on 17th.
But like I said,
That's just with the warmer weather.
no, I mean, Prabhupada also avoided the cold places. So when it was winter in the southern hemisphere, he would be in the north, and vice versa. And, because also you can look at another way from his point of view. He's a preacher. I mean, how are you going to preach if you get sick and if you've got a cold? It's an old body. You need to look after it. So, I mean, if your motivation is you want to keep your health good in a warmer place so that you can do better service, then that's Krishna consciousness. But if you're just thinking, I can go to a hot place and enjoy my senses more, then obviously that's some degree of lust there. But if Krishna's in the equation, then it's improving. And I don't think you've forgotten Krishna, have you, Gulshan? Otherwise, why would you join up on a Wednesday with a soul-searching session? You could be having a party there in Thailand, but you sacrificed that. So still there is Krishna's in the equation. So I wouldn't beat yourself up too much about your, liking gulabs too much. It'll naturally sort itself out. Just keep Krishna in your life, and then automatically these things will get sorted out. I would when I was a young brahmachari, I would eat like a pig 3 times a day at least. And now after 30 years, I only eat like a pig twice a day. I don't eat dinner anymore. So it's slowly coming under control, but just let it happen, and then slowly what I eat is becoming more simpler and like that, and it'll just automatically happen. Don't worry about it. You yourself, Krishna in the heart will guide you. That, do you really need to eat 11 gulabs? Maybe 10 will be enough, so slowly it will come under control, so yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah.
Sure. Not even at 1.0000001.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can see, Gulshan, I mean, just for example, I mean, everyone is an example, but just looking at you, I mean, I remember from the beginning, you were so much entangled, Gloria Jeans, making a lot of money, working so hard, eating junk food and all this stuff, and had a flash car and everything like that, a nice rental property. You've actually come a long way, how much you've let go of and detached from. If all that remains is gulabs, you've still done really well because you've actually given up a lot of things, I know. So yeah, Krishna's working on us in the behind the scenes. He's working behind the scenes, and if we look back, we'll say, wow, it's amazing what's happened. There must have been Krishna's mercy that, even when Deepak first came along, there was so much anxiety and fear and everything. Now Deepa's so at peace, even been through a very traumatic situation with her husband passing away. But I've noticed, handled it very well. Very, we call that, it's called Dira. It's called Dira, very sober, very soberly handling even very difficult situations, but handled very soberly. So, I mean, you've all come. I'm just amazed. It's Krishna's mercy that you're able to pass through, so many difficulties and overcome so many attachments, of let go and everything like that. And, thank you, Krishna. We should always remember by Krishna's grace. And that's one of my favorite verses in the 18th chapter text, 58. Beautiful verse. Beautiful verse, 1858. Gives me hope, this verse. even though I'm such a fool, but gives me hope.
Conscious of me, you will pass over. God's condition lies by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost.
So somehow or other we have to keep our connection with Krishna, and he will carry us through all this ocean. This material world is compared to an ocean of misery, an ocean of suffering, an ocean of birth, old age, disease, and death. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi. But if we stay in connection with him, he will carry us over this ocean of misery of the material world. However, if we forget him, we'll be dropped in the middle of the ocean. Good luck. Even if you're the best swimmer, you're not going to make it, mate. You know, even the best swimmer on the planet, you put him in the middle of the Pacific or Atlantic Ocean, that's it. He's a goner. You know, but by Krishna's grace, you know, we can pass over this ocean of this material world like that. And the super soul is part of Krishna's plan to get us out of here. And he's just patiently, like what we were hearing about in this 1323, just watching, observing us patiently, and just hoping that one day Gulshan and Deepa and Abai will turn back towards him again. Because we're all looking externally for sense gratification, like this mentioned lust, but we want to turn more internally, and that's the process of Bhakti Yoga. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We want to turn our mind inwardly. You see, the mind is this the crux of the matter is the mind. The mind is wanting to enjoy this material world. How does the mind, and in cooperation with the false ego, this false identity, that thinking that I'm the body, how does the mind and false ego try to enjoy? Through the senses. So through that tongue that Gulshan's talking about, through those eyes, through that nose, through that mouth, through that, you know, the touch and everything, the ears, we're trying to enjoy. But now we want to employ those senses in Krishna's service. So with our tongue, we taste food offered to Krishna. With our ears, we hear Hare Krishna, you know, something connected with his names, his pastimes like Bhagavad Gita, his instructions like that. Through the eyes, see the deity of Radha, Krishna, Sita, Ram, Lakshmi, Narayan, like that. With our touch the hand of a devotee, massage his feet or something, the Guru's feet, or like that, give some, you know, garland to the devotee, or somehow use our, you know, hands in the service of the Lord like that. Cut up the boga for the offering for the bhakti tree with your hands or whatever like that. Clean the floor of the temple for the, you know, Radha Gokulananda or something. So engaging our senses in Krishna's service, and that will purify the mind. That will purify the mind. So that's how we turn the whole thing around. We've become entangled due to the mind enjoying through the senses. Now we want to purify the mind and the senses by using it all in Krishna's service. Then when we use our senses properly in Krishna's service, then the mind will become purified. Then when the mind becomes purified, we can think about Krishna. And when we think about Krishna, then we can develop love for Krishna and go back home, back to Godhead. So yeah, that's how we reverse the process like that. So yeah, that's the super soul. He's in our heart, and we're in a machine made of material energy. And what is he doing? As mentioned in that verse we looked at, 1861. He is directing the wanderings, so that we can understand that the super soul is there, because he, by his presence there, is giving us direction. Otherwise, you're going to go around in circles, mate. We're going to just be lost round and round in circles. So he is directing us. You know, like Gulshan has gone to Thailand. He's been directed there by the super soul, how to find the Gurudwara and his friend's place, going to the weddings, everything is there. Deepa went to Malaysia by the super soul's direction, like that. We had one nice volunteer directed by the super soul, came here for 2 weeks, like that. This doctor was directed to come today by the super soul, like that. And now these three ladies, my wife and these two ladies, are sitting in our wood-fired sauna together. So getting nice association like that. So yeah, so Krishna has directed them all to that sauna like that. And we all like puppets in his hands, and he is making all the arrangements like that perfectly. Everything is perfectly arranged like that, according to the desires of the living entities. His direction comes after our desire. That's very important to understand. Some people say like, oh, come on, why don't you go to the temple? And people, and a pious Hindu will say, well, when God wants me to go to the temple, I'll go to the temple. Excuse me, no, it doesn't work like that. That's the wrong understanding. Don't say that. When God wants me to go to the temple, I'll go to the temple. That's not how it works. First of all, you have a desire to go to the temple, then God in your heart will make an arrangement for you to go to the temple. Don't think God is going to do the first act like that. You have the responsibility to put in your desire, what you want, and he will respond. So what he's actually doing as a super soul, he's responding and acting on what you desire. It's important to know that. Otherwise, if you have a desire to go to the pub, then Krishna or Super Soul will make all the arrangement, or get a waterfront house. So like I said, bring it back to that. We don't disagree with that part of the Bible. Man proposes, God disposes. It's a fact. First of all, you put in your desire, then it comes. See, people, big thing is in New Age philosophy, positive thinking. There, it's the opposite problem. The opposite problem is you think it's the 100% of the equation is your mind. This is your desire. Your desire is making it happen. They've left out the main part of the equation is, you put in your desire, but then God has to fulfill it. If God does not fulfill it, you don't get it. I'm sorry, you don't get it. And there's another saying about first deserve, then desire. Have you heard that saying? First deserve, then desire. Means, like, I'll give you an example. You desire a Mercedes Benz, but you only have $10,000 in your bank. What are you going to actually get? Is probably a Toyota Corolla in 1985. But if you have $150,000 in the bank, then you'll get the Mercedes Benz. Both of them get a car, but according to what you deserve. So you have a karmic bank account. If you have the good karma, you can get exactly what your desire is. If you have the bad karma, it might be a lot less than what you wanted, but still something is coming, but maybe a lot less than what you actually desired. So you don't want to have the Hindu mentality that, whenever God wants me to go to the temple, I will go to the temple. That's not correct. And you don't want to have the New Age philosophy idea that my mind is just creating all these incredible things, is just automatically by the power of my mind and everything. God's not in that equation. See, the first one is wrong because you're only seeing God in the equation, not you. And the second one is wrong because you only see you in the equation and not God. You have to integrate both of them, you and God together, and then you're desiring and he's arranging. Then you've got, that is the perfect philosophy. That is actually what is happening in this world like that. Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then through that, we can understand, wow, what we desire, we have to be careful. Make it a good one. Put in a good desire. Because you can put in, like I said, drink beer and watch rugby, which is like everywhere in the West, you know. But that's pathetic. You know, what kind of hopeless desire? And then that's your whole life. God will arrange that every weekend you go and watch the rugby and you just drink beer and your whole life is spoiled like that. You know, so be very careful what you desire. And then that's what we're learning from the guru, to just how to develop the best desires. And there's one beautiful prayer in the Srimad Bhagavatam which said that this devotee is praying, one of the, I think he's called a Yogendra, one of the 9 Yogendras, is saying that, my Lord, as I wander in this material world, life after life, due to the reactions of my past karma, my past misdeeds, please give me the association of your pure devotees. So this is a prayer by a devotee. Yavate maya sprasta, that as I'm wandering through this material world due to the reaction of my past karma, my past misdeeds, please give me the association of your pure devotees. Bhagavat Sangi Sangasya, the association of your associates. Prabhupada says in the purport, he says, this is the best prayer for a devotee, to pray for the association of devotees, because that is going to guarantee that we will achieve Krishna consciousness by having the association of pure devotees of the Lord. So like that, you know, we want to find out what are the best things to desire. You're desiring 11 gulabs or 12 gulabs is good, but can be better. Can be better. If you desired, like, for example, I wish I could have the remnants of a gulab eaten by Radhana Swami. That would be more better. That he's bitten half of it, or even left you a crumb. If I could have the crumb of a gulab tasted by Radhana Swami, so that would be a more better desire. 11 gulabs is okay, but like that. So somehow we want to improve our desires. Yeah. Mm. You find that wherever you go, Gulshan.
Right, and then I just had that spending out because long queue at the back. I went again and I said, listen, man, I just got that fax, like email from my doctor. My sugar is perfect. So just put another gulab in there. He put that. And that time I went there, I said, Yogi, I said, listen, my Guru Maharaj is staying there. Do you want to prove my Guru Maharaj? Maharaj? He said, no, I'm giving you Prabhuji.
Nice. Yeah. So what? Yes. So that if we know that the importance of what we desire, because that's what Krishna he's watching, he's witnessing. Remember, he's the Upadrasta. He's just watching, what do we want? And if you want him, he will give you himself. And if you want some stupid temporary thing of this world, he will give that to you. Yeah, so work on that. This is what we want to work on, the quality of our desires. It was fascinating. One time, Prabhupada, he was in a Pandal program, and he turned around to a group of his own sannyasi disciples, young disciples that had taken sannyas. He turned around to them and said, why are you affected by sex desire? Now, it seems like a very unusual question, because in sannyas ashram, you're not supposed to have sex desire. That's when you're qualified to take sannyasas, then, when you're free from that, you don't have that anymore. But he knows they're young, right? They're all young men, actually, and he's given them that sannyas. Some people actually criticize Prabhupada for giving young men sannyas, because traditionally in Vedic culture, after you've been a grihastha and the children are grown up and everything like that, only then the person after 50 like that, even might be later 70, takes sannyas. But Prabhupada was giving sannyas to like 20, 25-year-old like that, very young. So, but he did that because it was an emergency. He gave sannyas to such young people because it was an emergency. He's just visualized this. He's like 75, 80 years old. He knows he doesn't have much longer to spread Krishna consciousness. He really needs to push Krishna consciousness very fast, very hard. How is he going to do that? He has to create sannyasis. And he doesn't have old, 60-year-olds. He only has 20, 25-year-olds. So he turned them into sannyasis, and he knew that they're still going to have some desires. So he said to them, why are you affected by sex desire? And they're all like stuck with, that's a very difficult question to answer. Why are we affected by it? Wasn't expecting that. You don't expect that kind of question. It's a very hard question to swallow and to be honest with the answer. So Prabhupada gave the answer too. He said, you're affected by sex desire because you want to be. And that's what it is. Why do we have material desires? Because we want them. We want them. We want to have. So why are we affected by these material desires in the material world? Because we with our free choice that God has given us, free choice, we want to taste this material world. We want to experience this material world, enjoy this material world. Yeah, no problem. I figured it was something like that. So yeah, that's that. So I was just saying, Deepa, that Prabhupada asked these sannyasis the question, why are you affected by sex desire? And they were all stuck by that question, was too much for them to spit out an honest answer. So Prabhupada answered it for them. He said, because you want to be. So because you want to be. So that means we have free choice, and we're using that choice to, we're very attached to wanting to enjoy this material world. That's the ultimate fact, that the souls, originally we come from Krishna. We're meant to serve Krishna, but we've turned our back on that. We've walked away from that. Now we're trying to take God's position ourselves and try to be the enjoyers of this world. So, we're very addicted. We're like enjoyment addicts. We're enjoyment addicts. So we're trying to enjoy through the body, and we're addicted to that. So it's very hard to give it up. So that's the embarrassing answer, is because of our own desires. Therefore, Krishna's arranging these things. So how do we escape this? It seems like, how do we get out of that? And the real simple answer is called the higher taste. We need to get the higher taste, and that's what we try to do, like at the Bhakti Tree, right? Give people such a tremendous enjoyment, but connected with Krishna. We want to give them better food than what they're eating outside. We want to give them better music than what they're getting outside, better entertainment than what they're getting outside. Is it actually wrong that we're trying to enjoy? No. Actually, the nature of the soul is we enjoy too much with Krishna. But somehow we've separated ourselves from enjoying with Krishna, and now we're trying to enjoy without Krishna. So what we want to do now is get back to being used to enjoying with Krishna, which is far better. It's the higher taste like that. So we don't condemn ourselves for wanting to enjoy, but what is condemned is to our trying to enjoy without Krishna, minus Krishna. Now we want to enjoy plus Krishna, with Krishna. And that's what yoga means, right? Yoga means plus. So it's us plus God. That's yoga. And without God, that's called V-yoga. V-yoga. It means minus, without God, like that. So now we just want to connect our enjoyment. Like if you look at the life of a pure devotee, it's simply enjoyment. What does a pure devotee do? Singing and dancing and feasting. And feasting, chanting, dancing, and feasting. They're just in so much ecstasy. And we know, Prabhupada would sing Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Radha Madhava, and just be stuck in the middle of a line when tears would shoot out of his eyes sideways. And not only that, but the whole audience would be swept with waves of love of Krishna. Everyone would be crying in the audience. They would fall over on the ground. Can you imagine? And New Vrindavan Farm, the first Hare Krishna farm in 1972, Prabhupada went into ecstasy. One devotee named Bharadvaj was leading the kirtan, and Prabhupada stopped him and asked another devotee, Vishnujan, famous kirtanier, asked Vishnujan to take over. And Vishnujan, he sung different mantras, and then he sung Hare Krishna. And then Vishnujan was part way through, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. And Prabhupada cut in. He didn't usually do that. Prabhupada cut in, and then tears were shooting out of his eyes, and the whole audience was just drowning in an ocean of bliss like that. And, this is what is going to help us. We need to get that higher taste like that. So we are not anti-enjoyment. We are promoting enjoyment, but the real enjoyment is with God, not without God. That is the thing. And if you enjoy with God, then automatically the enjoyment with God will slowly leave us. It will slowly leave us like that. It will slowly leave us. So yeah, it will just automatically go. It will just automatically go like that. Automatically go. So yeah, that's the Supersoul. And then he says that in our verse today, we'll just finish here. I am the beginning, the middle, and end of all beings. Like that. The beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings. What's one very important event in our lives? The beginning event is called birth. So here Krishna's saying, I am the birth. He is there. So isn't it, we all love it when our kids take birth, right? Our beautiful kids, they all appeared. That's actually Krishna's energy. Without Krishna's energy, you don't have kids. None of us have kids without Krishna. We don't like the other end. What is it? The end of all beings, right? So the death, right? But just like Krishna is birth, he's also death. But of course, for us, that's not a painful thing. Of course, ordinarily, death is a very horrible thing. No one even wants to talk about it or think about it. What's that? Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So for a devotee, then there's no end to the being. It seems like the end, death, but it's actually, like Gulshan's saying, that will lead to another beginning. And we know the soul is eternal. The soul is eternal. But so Krishna is there right from the beginning, right through the end. And then the middle, what's the middle? That's our life. So even in our life, Krishna is essential. Krishna is essential for birth to take place. Krishna is essential during our whole life. And Krishna is essential in the death process also to be changed to another body. That without Krishna there, the soul cannot be changed from one body to the next. The Krishna is also essential in that transformation, like that reincarnation. So Krishna is so essential in all parts of our life. People say, I don't need God, but look, excuse me, mate. Without God, you don't have kids. Without God, you don't have parents. Without God, you're not going to grow. Without God, you can't eat, you can't sleep, you can't have sex, you can't you can't move, you can't lift anything up. God is, you can't breathe, you can't digest, so you telling me you don't need God? So the real thing is people are just so ignorant of how important God is in our life. He's directing our wanderings. He's fulfilling our desires. He's organizing the changes of body between birth and youth and old age and death and all these things, and being shifted to another body or shifted back to Godhead or shifted wherever it's going to be shifted, can only be by his mercy, by his grace. So anyone says that we don't need God, I'm sorry, you need some education, because nothing exists from the beginning right through the end, like that. If you say from the beginning to the end, that's everything, right? There's nothing else. Right from the beginning, right through to the end. Krishna's there. I am the beginning, I'm the middle, and the end. So that's our whole life. So right through our whole life. Okay, our time's up, and also one of our doctor friend is also leaving, so I'm going to have to sign off. So that's the end. This is the end of the session, but there'll be the beginning of the next one will be coming up the beginning, but this is the end of this one. Yeah, well, no, we're not going to Mongolia. Okay, lovely to see you both again. Okay, Hare Krishna, take care. You're welcome, welcome, welcome. How was it? Good? Woohoo!